Hi, Chichi. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy
Hi.
to join the webinar. Yes, right now as we speak, I'm in a rural community in Uganda, and we've been talking to different youngsters around issues on sexual reproductive health and also addressing issues around teenage pregnancy. Corona COVID has been quite the COVID situation has been quite challenging for many of us, especially the young people in the different sector. Yeah. One is maybe to first introduce myself once again. I'm Humphrey Nabimanya. I'm the team leader and founder of Reach a Hand Uganda. Reach a Hand is a youth-led organization that focuses on youth empowerment and also health advice for young people in the different sector. As Reach a Hand Uganda, we work in about 46 districts, and also one of the main issues we address issues around HIV and AIDS for young people. We address issues around teenage pregnancy and child marriage. We address issues around also empowering young people to have their own businesses. And also we understand that the kind of problems that we might be having in Uganda might be not that different or any other African country that are facing. So our movement is quite to address some of those challenges and also provide solutions for young people through using edutainment, through using different outreach programs that we carry out. We do a lot of digital campaign in different ways. And so that's the kind of work that we really do. I'm really honored to be part of this webinar talk. It's one of the kind. I might say that that is trying to influence change, and also looking that it's organized in a very special week of us celebrating young people all over the world, the International Youth Day, and also the theme is about like how do we uplift young people from the poverty line, but also looking at young people as strong economic growth. So for me, that is very important, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Humphrey.
So I will be asking the first question now.
Can you hear us? We want to ask you the first question.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, to what extent can the legislative process be used for youth development and empowerment? Did you get the question?
Yes, I got the question.
Okay.
As you can understand, in most times whereby policies are designed at different levels. And also here we have policies that are quite designed from the grassroots level that goes to the national level, but also as well they'll cross borders to the international level. But also we have to look at these policies or legislative policies that have been designed to uplift young people or the youth practical in different ways. We have beautiful policies that are designed across the African continent by different countries. They're beautiful on paper, but when it comes to implement some of these policies, it is quite very hard because one, the governments don't have budgets, you know, to implement some of these policies. Recently in Uganda, our creative and arts industry was attacked by the policies that were designed. And some of these policies was basically to regulate the creativity of the artists, and mainly in the art industry, we have like 90% of it are young people who are really creative. Now they're bringing policies that don't really favor them. So how are they going to expect, especially the industry of arts, to grow? And that's why the young people mostly policies can affect the development of young people in different ways, but also they can contribute towards, you know, enhancing their own businesses. So they have a very huge effect on the bad side, and also they have a very huge effect on a good side. So in that, when we're designing some of these policies, the question is, are young people consulted? Do they fit in to see what is practical for them? And also, do they even have funding to support these policies to be implemented? And also, when the policies are passed, do they go straight to the grassroots or they stop in the urban areas? So there have been ways that these policies have affected the growth of young people, but also there are ways that the policies that have really improved the growth of young people in their different businesses, their different initiatives in different ways. So it's a two-way kind of thing that I might say, but also it comes back to us as young people. How do we demand for these policies to be more inclusive and more accommodative for every young person that is working in their different countries? So that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, I want to step it down a bit to even ask, you are doing this, and I know a lot of our young people want to go out and do outreach programs in our local communities, in rural areas, but there are no support, there are no funds. How have you been able to sustain this? You've been doing this for so many years. How did you start? I want you to maybe mention it a bit, how you started and how you've been able to source for funds to sustain what you have been doing for this number of years.
When Richard Hand started, we started as a youth movement that is doing a lot of outreach programs. I mean, like, look at us, young people have to look at themselves the way a pastor is going to look at himself or herself and start up a church in their community. Because one of the main objectives is to spread the word of God. But also our main objective as young people, especially in Richard Hand, how I looked at myself was like, there's someone's life that I have to change. One, we're looking at the pandemic of HIV and AIDS that is eating us up on a daily basis. We are looking at our dear sisters that are not even achieving their dreams and goals in life because they're married off at the age of 12, 14 years, and they're not even able to go to school. We are looking at our dear sisters getting pregnant on a daily basis. And here I'm talking about like 40% in my country, every year, registered teenage pregnancies. And now with the COVID situation whereby all young people are back at home, we are evidence that the lack of that information has increased the teenage pregnancies in this country. So we started in a way that we're moving from one door to one door, like how they call there's
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
The language. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yes. We started of how evangelism is done, whereby we are moving from one door to another, spreading the gospel truth around health issues and how you understand about the challenges they're facing in their lives.
Okay, if I
of course, like technology is one of the biggest problems in Africa. So how do we package our messages using a radio drama to reach out to the different young people? And also we developed a movement of youth in all different parts of the country that are trained and are able to spread this message and also reach out to different young people in their different capacity in different places. So that's
okay. You started as doing evangelism. I know you are. Yeah, in rural area, the network is
able now to penetrate in the rural communities, and that's what has made.
Okay, so I think.
Hello, how are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Okay, we can hear you now. The network was a bit shaky. Thank you for that revelation. I mean, you talked about doing evangelism, even starting from just going door to door.
Yeah.
But money-wise, how were you able to raise money to get people to support this project?
I mean, when I speak, I know that it's a challenge faced by so many people that are starting up initiatives. Fundraising is one of the challenges that we face on a daily basis. and also to make people believe in what you do is also another big challenge that we quite fight for on a daily basis. But in terms of, it's about like how you market your program. Marketing your program for people to believe in what you're doing is creating, also showcasing the results and the impact that we create in the different communities. So for us, that really helped us in bringing different funders and individuals that have supported our work, and also promoting the spirit of voluntarism around the youth in Uganda, for them to be the first capital that we are looking at, the first funders that we are looking at are the young people that we are serving. So if you have the youth movement in your country and it's evidence enough to show that these are the young people behind me, they need your support, you'll have different people that are going to really support the work that you're doing in your different countries. So that's how we have been able to solicit for funding for the kind of work we are doing, by showcasing the impact and the results that we are creating in our different communities. So that's how we are able to achieve some funding that is supporting our work in Uganda.
Wow, that's amazing. That's huge.
Really awesome. Okay, just before I ask the second question, if you have questions you'd love to ask our speaker, please kindly type them in the comment section. We have people there who will take this question. All right, so the second question is this: what are the considerations that should give the agenda for policy formulation on youth development and empowerment? Did you get the question?
I didn't get that well.
What are the considerations that should drive the agenda for policy formulation on youth development and empowerment? What should people consider? What should be considered to drive the agenda for formulating policies that center around youth development and empowerment?
I think what should be considered, one, is innovation that is rising up. Young people have to be put at the forefront, because the young people are forming up the majority population in Africa. And if they're not consulted or put at the forefront when they are formulating these policies, definitely it's going to affect the development of different countries. If you see in our country, especially in Uganda, also the neighboring countries, 45 years below are the majority employers of everyone in their country. 45 above to 60 to 100 years, those are public servants. So they're not employers. So the employers are the young people. The innovators are the young people. The people that are coming up with ideas are young people. So if they're not consulted in formulating policies that govern them, that also can lead to the development of their countries, many countries are going to be third world countries, even come 2050, 2070, until we reach 3,000 years ahead. These developed countries that we see and admire most, they were not built by old people. They were built by young people that were so innovative. If you go to Silicon Valley right now, majority business owners of billions, of worth billion companies are young people, are the youth, because they are consulted on what governs them, on how their businesses should move, on how their businesses should develop. People that are now controlling the economy all over the world, the forex tradings and whatever that we're talking about, balancing up stocks, the stock owners right now are young people, you know? So we are talking about a generation that is innovative, a generation that understands what they want, a generation that is so passionate and so energetic. And those are people that we have to consult while developing different policies that are leading to the development of different nations. So so everything that will follow under poverty, health issues, and all that, all those will be solved as long as these guys are put on the forefront in designing and also consultations and implementing these policies.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, someone is asking a question. We're going to get that shortly. I want to ask, you know, Africans, we are very religious.
Yes.
We are very religious. How have you been able to handle that? You know, going to talk about reproductive health, and you are giving young people condoms, and you are telling them, you know, you are not even focusing only on abstinence. You're also talking about sex safe. How have you been able to handle all that with people, with the people who are too religious to say you are messing up our children and all that? How have you been able to handle that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Religion and our cultures have played a big role in in rolling out sexuality education and reproductive health information. And also when it comes to services, we have seen that some cultures are a bit conservative even to understand what might be killing us or what won't be killing us. But HIV is real. The way corona is real, it takes a rich person, it takes a pastor, it takes any religious person. So it eats up everyone. So it's about now we are trying to adopt the protective measures. I'm giving an example of COVID because it has shown, it has opened up the world. It has made the world one global village in that everyone has shut down to understand how this disease is really looked at. Yeah, if corona was so real and the only solution was to use condoms, I know that even pastors would have advised and advocated for use of condoms amongst young people.
Very true. Very true.
So that's the way that HIV is supposed to be looked at. You know, sex is not obscene. For example, it's not a sin. It's an enjoyable factor. But how it's looked at and packaged, it's packaged as if it's a sin. But in reality, young people are practicing sex. And when they're practicing sex, it's unprotected sex on a daily basis. We're seeing majority of young people, you know, of all the issues I've mentioned before that they are facing is because of our own sexuality. So if we deny them this information, we are doing them a disservice. The way now we have presidents, they go on TV and they're talking about COVID, how to wash your hands and whatever. We are requesting for them to go on TV and preach how to use condoms, how to abstain, and how to be faithful in a more equal manner, without saying that these guys are spoiling our children or they are not doing it. What we are doing, by the way, is a huge service. We are playing a parental role as Richard Hand. Playing that parental role is to have a peer-to-peer approach that is going to address issues that really matter and also issues that are going to support young people to grow. If we have a healthy population in future, that health population is going to develop our countries, that health population is going to vote wisely, that health population is going to create a lot of employment opportunities to so many of our children and also the young people that we have in different countries. So that's a kind of way that as well we address these religious leaders, for them to look at what is reality. The reality, we're not based on history. We want to base on what is happening right now. And the reality, they're good enough, they know. It's not that they don't know, they know. But at the end of the day is that we want to behave conservative and yet HIV is eating us on a daily basis. We want to behave conservative and yet they're the same people that stand in church and marry off our young girls to old men. We want to behave conservative and yet we have a lot of, you know, our young girls getting pregnant at an early age. We want to behave conservative and yet we are seeing a lot of girls dropping out of school because they lack sanitary pads. And those are some of the issues we are addressing. We want to behave conservative, yet our daughters are going to grow by the age of 30 years. They cannot even express themselves and they lack low self-esteem and they don't have anywhere to work because of that. So why don't we start developing up?
Wow.
Can you hear me? So why don't we start developing up our generation for them to understand how they are going to conduct themselves in future? That's how we're going to have powerful presidents who are female all over Africa. We're going to have powerful people that are now having marketing jobs and they can be able to bring in millions on millions of money into your company because these young people have been built up for greatness. And that's how it all starts.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We can see questions here from people. Someone just joined and said, what is your organization about? So I'm going to ask you 3 questions in one. You help me take it in the next 2-3 minutes, and we're going to let you go because you've done a lot. You've done justice to your topic. So someone asks, what is your organization all about? She just joined. Then another person asks, do you also handle mental health? Because HIV comes with, you know, depression, a lot of people with stigma that ends up depressing the people. So do you also handle that angle of the mental health? Yeah. You know, so what's the other question that I saw there? How can you call? Okay,
just use the last question.
Just go ahead and answer this.
One is that, yeah. So reach a hand. I've texted our website on the chat room, so you can visit Reach a Hand and see what we all about. We have amazing projects, and as well we have internship programs. So if you want to come and do internship with us, once this all lockdown is done as well, you can reach out to us. I'm going to leave my email address behind, so you can reach out as well and know more about us. We are also on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We also have a project called Sauti Plus. We have an application that you can download. It's called Sauti Plus. It's both on Android and Apple, so you can download. We have provided easy access of information to the young people. As well on Sauti Plus, we have different items that you can see and also enjoy. We have an online TV as well that is providing reproductive health information. We have TV series. For example, Chadala, that Aunt Chichi also as well was part of an amazing series that has hit around. And also Sauti Plus, those in Zambia, those in Lesotho, we are going to be launching our Sauti Plus app in those countries as well. So you'll be able as well to access it. So that's all about Reach a Hand. We are mainly young people. We are creative. We design programs that really speak in the minds of young people. To change the mindset of young people, you have to speak the language that they do understand, and we speak that language properly as Reach a Hand Uganda. Mental health issues are the biggest now, because you see, our cultures in Africa designed in a way to overlook things. The issue of mental health has been overlooked for a long time. And yet mental health is one of the biggest subjects that we are trying as well as much as possible to see on how we can incorporate it in our programs, in schools, and also the communities that we serve. So basically that, it tackles so many things. In lockdown now, we have been addressing so many issues of young people and challenges because their mental health is quite really affected. They're having so many issues going on. If you look at issues of gender-based violence, they cause a lot of mental health problems. Issues about family broken homes, they cause a lot of family problems, mental health problems. So you find that children are in schools, but whatever that is disturbing their performance is back at home. So we come in as well to address some of those issues. So we have a huge psychosocial program in Reach a Hand that supports young people's mental health.
Wow, thank you so much, Hum. Thank you, I appreciate you. I don't know if you can just take this question for just 1 minute. Question. Yeah, the last question.
So
yes.
The question is, what can African nations do to ensure a periodic developmental needs? Okay, periodic developmental needs assessment for their teeming youth and young persons to bring them at par with their counterparts in developed nations.
I didn't hear that very well. Maybe you can repeat it once again.
Okay, I think what can African nations do to ensure a periodic developmental needs assessments for their teeming youth and young persons to bring them at par with their counterpart in developed countries? I don't know if you got that.
Okay,
it's a lot of
just to make this,
I know that, but I'll just try to sum it in what I think and how I feel.
Okay.
I mean, just what can African nations do for their youths to
bring them to
the level of other nations,
like what you are doing, with
how can we develop our youth to match up with the standards of other youth outside Africa?
You see, I deal with a programs officer in the Netherlands. She's 23 years old, but she handles a budget of over 20 million euros. Yeah, 23 years old, professionally handling that. So in Africa, what's our problem with our leaders? Why don't they involve young people in these discussions, in managerial roles? Why don't African leaders involve young people in politics, in also leading? Why don't we have young ministers, that are governing these ministries? I'm happy. I have a friend of mine in Namibia. She's now the Minister of State for Youth, but she's 25 years old. Why don't most countries do that? As I said, young people are the change makers of our nations. And if they are not part of that power to make that decision, it is going to take so long for the African nations to develop. And that's what African nations should do. In companies, if you employ, like for example, Rich Hand employs over 40 young people. And all these are core staff, you know?
Wow.
They're all ranging from the age of 35, you know, to 25 to 18. We have over 1,300 young people we work with across the country, and all of them are being employed on a voluntary basis. But
Wow.
they're on the forefront to change their own communities. So the biggest thing that we should do is engagement of the young people in discussions that make solutions, and also in decision making of the development of our different countries. That's how we're going to achieve.